In this video, we'll be looking at mixed time conditionals, omitting if, and implied conditions. Let's begin. The time in the if clause and the result clause may be different. One clause may be in the present and the other may be in the past. Let's take a look at some examples. So this is the real situation. I didn't sleep well last night. That's in the past time. I have a headache today. That's in the present time. So a conditional statement for this is, if I had slept well last night, I wouldn't have a headache today. So here we can see that the past perfect is used to express the past time in the if clause, and would plus the base form of a verb is used to express the present time in the result clause. Here's another example. I am afraid of spiders. This is the present. I didn't pick it up. This is the past. So a conditional statement for that is, if I weren't afraid of spiders, I would have picked it up. Here we can see that the simple past is used to express the present time in the if clause, and would have and the past participle is used to express the past time in the result clause. So this is the same as the conditional sentences that we looked at in the present, past, and future, but you just have to keep in mind which clause is referring to which time and use the appropriate verb forms. If may be omitted in the if clause with the verbs were, had, and should. When if is omitted, the subject and verb are inverted or switched. It's not necessary to omit if, and it's not very common to have the sentence this way. Omitting if is a little more formal. So here's an example. If I were unhappy, I would have told you. So we can omit if, and then we switch the subject and the verb. Were I unhappy, I would have told you. This has the same meaning. Keep in mind, this is not a question, even though we have the verb first and then the subject. It has the same meaning as if I were unhappy. If she had known that you were coming, she would have prepared more food. So we can omit if, and we switch the subject and the verb. So had she known that you were coming, she would have prepared more food. So the sentence has the same meaning. If he should return the book, please give it to me. So again, this is an example of the use of should in the if clause, which shows that it's a little less expected as using the simple present. So we can omit if and say, should he return the book, please give it to me. The if clause is often not stated directly, but it is implied in the meaning of the sentence. So conditional verbs are still used in the result clause, and conditional verbs are frequently used with otherwise. They would have gone to Nepal last summer, but they didn't have enough money. So in this sentence, the implied condition is, if they had had enough money, they would have gone to Nepal last summer. So even though the sentence itself does not include an if clause, we still have a result clause, and so we still use those conditional forms of the verbs in the result clause. We couldn't have finished the work without your help. The implied condition is, if you hadn't helped us, we couldn't have finished the work. So again, there is no if clause in that sentence, but it is implied. So we use the conditional verbs in the result clause. I didn't invite her personally, otherwise she would have come. The implied condition here is, if I had invited her personally, she would have come.